In a moment of unexpected convergence, I find myself in reluctant agreement with Reform UK on at least one issue: the party's legal threat to challenge the Home Office's use of asylum hotels in areas that they now control is not just political theatre, it may in fact be a functional prod to a broken system. And Reform's blunt tactics might be crude, but the limbo of mass hotel accommodation, state-funded, expensive, inhumane, is worse. Let's begin with the facts. Reform UK, having taken control of 10 local councils and gained over 600 seats, now wields the kind of power that allows it to test the limits of local authority against central government contracts. And their chairman, Zia Youssef, told the BBC this morning that they intend to use every instrument of power available, including judicial reviews, planning objections and regulatory pressure, to prevent the housing of asylum seekers in council-controlled hotels. Now, why does this matter? Because the legal infrastructure governing asylum housing has long been a fog of devolved responsibility and opaque contracts. Hotels are being paid for by the Home Office, not local councils, yet the impact is felt on the ground on public services, local sentiment and cohesion. And at last count, nearly 40,000 migrants were still housed in hotels, a figure described as unacceptably high even by the government's own reckoning. The economic cost is staggering, with the Daily Mail calculating the bill at over £8 million per day. Yet the greater offence lies in the policy's moral inertia. We're paying not to process people. We're prolonging legal uncertainty. We're denying human dignity, not through malevolence, but through mismanagement and through the remnant of the hostile environment. This is where Reform's intervention becomes paradoxically constructive. The lawyers are combing through planning laws, licensing rules, fire safety regulations to argue that the transformation of hotels into de facto hostels violates local codes. It is to some extent weaponising bureaucracy, but with the aim of ending a bureaucratic failure. Even Labour-led Coventry once did the same. They filed a judicial review in 2021 against the government's dispersal policy. That challenge was only withdrawn after the Home Office pledged a new, fairer system, one that has largely failed to materialise. Reform is likely motivated more by anti-immigrant sentiment than administrative efficiency, and their rhetoric about deporting every illegal migrant and their flirtation with tent encampments à la Calais is as harsh as it is simplistic, and it's abhorrent. Yet their pressure, legal, political and public, could force the Home Office to confront the root problem, the asylum backlog, and their responsibility for that. Processing must be sped up. Either grant permission to work and integrate or deport. But to leave tens of thousands of people in this mad limbo at a taxpayer expense while populist outrage swells on both sides of the political spectrum is the worst of all worlds. Indeed, this speaks to a broader truth, that localism is not impotent. Reform councillors may lack direct control over asylum contracts, but they can control planning permission, licensing, enforcement and local procurement. They can force national government to respond. And whether you are a liberal reformer or a hardline populist, no one benefits from a policy that keeps people idle in hotels indefinitely. No one benefits from paying these cheap and scurrilous organisations, these hotels, to simply house these migrants on contracts which go on and on and on. This enrages local voters. More importantly, it traps asylum seekers and it lines the pockets of the private firms paid to warehouse human lives in travel lodgings never meant for long-term habitation. This is not about tents. It's about justice, it's about humanity, it's about efficiency and accountability. And in this one issue, perhaps only this one issue, Reform and I stand on a strange common ground. We both want to end the hotel limbo. We just have different reasons for doing it.